guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing another book review for you today. This one is called Loyaty'S Web, and I'm sorry if I slaughter the author's name. I'll leave it all linked in the description box down below, the information on this. But it is by Joyce DiPastena? I don't know, it's foreign. And this is a historical romance novel. Again, after reading my other historical novel on Fanny and Henry Longfellow, I really wanted to get into maybe another historical one. This one is more fiction than it is historical. It's just set in a historical time setting, and it's about Henry and King Henry and his son Richard. His sons, the one that they focus on is Richard, and their struggle for power and the struggle against each other because they didn't get along necessarily. But anyway, so that's kind of the setting that this book is set in, is back in England. And this is about a girl named Helen and her sister, whose name I will probably slaughter as well, so I will just go by the nickname they call her in the book, which is Chloe. Her older sister Chloe had been married before, and to a fat duke. Her parents just married her off, essentially so that they could get his money. And so she was married out before he died during the war. It was the Richard against King Henry, and everybody succumbed and did as Henry said because Richard's side lost. And so they have an arranged marriage set up with a duke, and so that they can secure the loyalty of her father. And so Chloe is supposed to marry this duke, and Helen is totally against it. She first off, Chloe is a beautiful lady. She's the most beautiful woman in the land, and her beauty stuns people. And Helen is tomboyish. She's a tomboy, and she does have beautiful long blonde hair, and so that's kind of what makes her a girl. She says that if she didn't have long hair, people would mistake her for a girl or a boy. And so she has this struggle with her sister's beautiful, and her mother kind of is just like, no, don't look cute, don't get fancy, because Chloe needs to snag the duke. We don't care what you look like, kind of, which is kind of sad. But it goes on in this story, and Helen and the duke, Helen is not afraid to speak her mind, and that is something that intrigues the duke. He doesn't want somebody that just sits there and doesn't talk to him or can't engage him in an interesting conversation, which back in these days, that's kind of what I feel like all these books are about. They want to be engaged in an interesting conversation, and Helen can do that and Chloe can't. She just kind of sits and does as she wants, which you find out why she's not intrigued to talk or flirt and do things to the duke. You find out why later on in the book, as well as what Helen and the duke's relationship kind of becomes. And then you also, it's a very fast-paced book. It's not very big, but it's very fast-paced. So you also find out like what Helen gets herself into. You find out, and it goes from, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, but the book also goes from both sides of, it gives Helen's thoughts and perspectives as well as the duke's thoughts and perspectives. I believe there are a few thoughts and perspectives from Chloe as well. So you kind of get the dual sides, which I absolutely love in books. I love it when you get to know what they're both thinking. And then it also makes you kind of want to shake both the characters and be like, just talk to each other, just tell each other these things. But of course, you know, they don't tell it's the right time and things like that. But it ends up that Helen gets, Helen is really good at archery, or she's trying to be better at archery, and the duke helps her with it, and that's when things kind of take a turn. The duke didn't want to get married. He did not want a woman pushed on him, especially a woman that could not be interesting and could not converse with him the way that he wanted to be conversed. And he has been a staunch a staunch, what is it called? He's been on the king's side. He's done whatever the kings wanted him to do. He's saved the king's life during these rebel battles. And so when the king told him that he needed to get married, he told him no. And it was the first time that he has ever defied the king. And so the king got very angry, and has actually sent a man out to a bishop, a clergyman, to marry them. And because the king's like, you need to present her to my court and she needs to be your wife. And he doesn't want to marry Chloe. She's not interesting enough for him. She may be beautiful, but he doesn't care about that necessarily. So he's having this internal battle within himself, that he needs to be loyal to the king, but he also wants to be loyal to himself. And Helen has the internal battle of she needs to be loyal to her family, but she also wants to be loyal to her heart, and she doesn't feel like she can do both. And so that's kind of where we leave off. I'm not going to tell you guys anymore because I don't want to spoil it for you. But again, it is called Loyaty'S Web by Joyce DiPastena. I don't know, guys. I'm so sorry. Look in the description box below, and I'll leave the author's name below with the book title as well. But this is really, really good. It's in the 12th century France, so I guess not England, it's in France, but it was King Henry who ruled England, so I'm not wrong there. So it's in 12th century France, and it is just so good. And I think that's why I have a little bit of a hard time with the names. Chloe's name I cannot say, and there's a second book to this that I'm currently reading right now, and you guys might get a book review on it next week. It's a little bit longer, and I just don't know how much time I'm gonna have to read it. But so if you guys don't get a book review next week, I'm sorry. But I'm reading that one right now, so so I'll let you guys know how that one goes. But yeah, I can't say, it's like Claudette. I don't know. I call her Chloe because it's the easiest way to say her name. Anyways, so that is, and there's also like a mystery in this book too. There's like a murder mystery and deceit. There's lots of mysteries in this book, so that's fun too. So you get like the history, the romance, the mystery, and like traitors. It's so fun. It's a fun read. It's definitely one that I would highly suggest for you guys. Check it out at your local library. See if they have it first. I found my copy off of Thrift Books, which I will leave linked down below as well. And you can actually follow the link there and get 15% off of your first and this isn't sponsored. This is just you can refer people to Thrift Books and they give 15% off coupons. There's a bunch of restrictions for it. I think that might only apply to like brand new books, but give it a try, see if it works. But Thrift Books is a secondhand used bookstore, and that's where I find all of my books for super cheap. This cost me like $3, and I order quite a few books so that I get free shipping as well. They're awesome too in the way that I ordered a whole bunch of books. It's a 12-set book series, and I'm so excited to read it and review it for you guys. I've already read some of them. Well, I've read all 11 of them except for the new one I haven't read. So I'm gonna reread them all and review them for you guys. But I'm excited because when I ordered from Thrift Books, that 12-set book series that I was talking about, I got them in hardback, and 2 of them came in paperback. And all I did was email them and say, hey, this came in paperback, I wanted it in hardback, what do I need to do to exchange this or make it right? And they emailed back and they just said, keep the book, we'll send you a new one free of charge. We just suggest that you take those paperbacks and donate them, which my sisters love because I'm giving them to my sisters, and it's a good book series, so you guys will want to pick it up and check it out for sure. But we will have more on that in a couple weeks when I start reading them. And thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow me on all my social media sites. I have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as subscribe here, click the bell for notifications, and as always, be polished, wear polish, and a little superstition never hurt. We'll catch you guys later. Bye!